Hey guys, it's Victor Alpha 7, Yankee Bravo India, Jack speaking again. Here we are, a couple months later, it being August 1st. My last upload was from May 1st, and as much as I said in the last video I wasn't going to change nothing, being content with what I had, I've done so yet again. More of just adjusting where I put my antennas. The main one being the big one that I had on top. There it is, it's down here now. It was up there. However, my big problem was I enjoyed it being up there because it was quite useful, especially when I had it all the way up. It was quite high off the ground and it was definitely getting out there. But I was coming into the issue where it was quite a hassle climbing up there, you know, because I was doing it quite a bit. Just getting up and down, up and down, up and down, adjusting, fiddling with it. So I figured I'd try something else, see if I can make it simplified. And so I have brought everything from up there down to here. So these are both listening antennas now. That Nagoya used to be my main talker for my VHF, UHF. But with these two being together, would not be good for reflect for transmitting on that antenna. So what I've done is I've turned this one into the listening antenna for the crossband repeat function on the VHF UHF. And what I've done is I've just switched the antennas around because this black tri-band from Larson used to be the listening antenna. So, but that is now the transmit one now. Not as bad as it seems actually. With it being that high up, it's already getting out there pretty good. And here on Vancouver Island, there's repeaters all over the place, so it's actually not hard to grab a signal, and all the repeaters on the island are all connected. It's called the island trunking system. So wherever I personally go, I'm never out of contact with a repeater, so 50 watts works just fine. So I got away with that. I've turned this into a different whip antenna too. That used to be in Nagoya as well, and also I would switch between a Larson. But the Nagoya was too tall, and the Larson was not good enough to grab signal. It worked, but since I put this whip antenna, which is just a 4-foot whip, it's worked well. And I've got it pinned back, so it's not super tall. I mean, the stance of this truck is already tall as it is. I didn't want to add to it, because with that guy standing straight up, I was whipping a couple of things. So I pinned it back, and it's working good. So what I've also done, interesting enough, whenever you grab, like, you know those typical shortwave radios where they have the antenna built into it and you extend it like a telescope, and you get, all of a sudden, you got these guys talking about getting these cool things you clip on, and then there's your long wire that you can drape anywhere you want, and that's how you grab your signal. Well, what I've got there is a real antenna. So I've clipped it on the end there, it's plugged in there, and I have ran it around this whole rack. There's the wire there. It goes all the way around, and it goes twice. When I clipped that on, and this was just the other day, so I've only been tinkering with it a little bit, but I spent some time last night looking up. What I did was last night I was at the boat launch here in town, which is a good spot by the water, and I was picking up a lot of stuff. So what I would do was I'd unclip it, go back in the truck, listen, and then I go clip it in, listen again. This guy really made a difference. I think I got like a +3 dB on most signals that came through with that just clipped in and running around. So the vertical and horizontal working antenna here, that's working more effectively than I genuinely thought. It almost makes me want to chuckle, but it's working. And what I've done is here I've just got a ram mount with a clip that pinches it so it keeps it pulled back, and then I also have tension that's tied down there, so it keeps it in place, and that keeps it from swaying about, so it locks it in. So it's working good. I'm happy with what I've done there. This black rail used to be where I would help connect the antenna to keep it pinned back, and then I had one back here for pinning it. I have just put a flag there for Canada Day and kept it. It's working good, so I won't complain. But here we go inside the truck, right? Nothing has changed in here from last time. It's all the same. So what I've done, I'll get on this side for now. I'll go to the other side soon. But I've had a bit of time with this now. So this is the Malihit DSP SDR that I showed off at the very beginning back in May. It was brand new to me back in May, so I was very new to it. I was still learning the controls and everything. I've had some playtime with this now. The screen's dark. It's really bright outside. My apologies, but that's the only downfall. The screen is not super bright during the day. But it's okay. I don't mind. I can get over that. It works phenomenal. It's a great little system. I loved it a lot. I love it. Sorry, a lot. It's working really well for me. I've done what I said, and I've taken this little earpiece, taken it from there, and I plugged it into here. It's a good little actual little option. There's been a couple weak signals, but I've been able to stick the earbud in and hear stuff no problem. And what we'll do, I'll close the door, go to AM mode. So with me arranging the antennas, of course, we got to make sure the reflex still good, right? Got to make sure it didn't do nothing. But we got reflect on this side on the right, and we got power on this side. I should be looking around 13 watts.
Up a little bit more, but you keep turning too early, they can still come down.
There we go.
A bit more. Oh, okay. I was trying to just jack.
There we go. I had on 200 watts. And my scanner's just going off.
You could keep your tires onto the street and jackknife it.
My bad. I should have muted that scanner. But yeah, I had on 200 watts because of my amplifier. I just switched it back to 15 watts. And now we're good to go.
Come straight down the road.
There we go. Put that on mute. Bring the volume down on this guy. My goodness. There we go. But yeah, so that worked out really well so far. Still got the same. Nothing's happened any different. So I'm really pleased about that. That was my concern at first. But so far everything's working good. And everything in here is definitely going to stay. I'm not going to be doing much for change. I'll maybe add a speaker just in here connected to this guy. Because it's got a backward firing speaker. And I don't always want to have the headphone in my ear. So I may do that. If I do that, I'll show it off. If I end up doing that. Which I'm pretty sure I'm actually going to in the future. Just a little speaker. Nothing big or fancy. But that is that for in here. It's working as intended. As I would hope it would. I had a fire extinguisher just because I've done quite a bit of wiring in here. And I figured to be safer than sorry, right? So that's what I've done there. I didn't show this off last time. I remember I did it quite a while ago. But here is my extra battery and my inverter and solar charger. I figured it's been a while, so I'll show it one more time. Because I have done one difference. I've added this now. It's just a simple kill switch. But what it's for is for connecting both the car battery with this battery. So it doubles the amps. It's a lithium battery, 100 amp hour. I've done the same by adding a lithium battery for the truck as well. And when I pull this out, it now completely disconnects both systems and they're now separate. I use this for when I'm camping or when I'm really using the amp quite a bit, sucking back the juice. I'll have both batteries connected. And the cool thing is that when I do so, when I'm out camping, the solar panels keep both batteries charged up, right? And it's good for if I ever need a jump start. You never know, right? So that's what that's for. We got a little light. Doesn't do much during the day, but it helps. So we're at 13.2 when the batteries are connected. If I disconnect them, staying at 13.2. Good. So that means I'm fully charged. So I'm happy about that. Oh, there we go. A little blip for a sec, connecting them again. And then here we go with the inverter. The inverter is powered on by a cool little switch in here. I'll show that off. May as well, right? here we are, right there. So you push that power button, and there we go. And that turns this guy on. So it shows everything about that, all the information, everything that you kind of want to know. 2000 watt pure sine wave. Always use a pure sine wave inverter. You're asking to blow equipment if you do not. Meaning like pure sine wave inverters, the specialty about it is when you put appliances in, it has the smart tech to give the appropriate wattage and or amps to each piece of equipment on how much it takes. The dumb inverters, they kind of just can do a surge of power and actually can blow whatever equipment you plug into it. So it's a potential, not always, but a pure sine wave kind of just gets rid of that whole possibility. And I got my axe and shovel for camping. And also, I should add, having these two antennas here, you think, well, how you pop the hood? Like, doesn't that get in the way? This one, luckily, does not interfere with popping the hood. You can pop it all the way up, and it will never touch that antenna. It's the perfect curve where it avoids the hood. And this one, of course, is just two tie downs. You unclip, it whips back up straight, and you can pop the hood, no problem. So, luckily avoided that. I've also just simply added a cargo net. That's the only other difference for just chucking luggage underneath, right? It's worked out already. And what I've done is, it's just carabiners. There's 8 of them. I go all around. They just clip on to the main frame of the rack, and that does that. And up top for the tie downs, it's just 2 more little plastic carabiners, and they clip onto that. And the tent, right? You take the cargo net off, the Kevlar cover whips off. You unclip that antenna whips up, and the whole tent pops up. Nothing touches it. I can do it roughly in about 2 minutes, so it's no big deal for me. And then up here we got the 2 solar panels. 2 of them. They're both 100 watts. So plenty of power coming in for what I personally need. And it works good. So that is where we are with this guy. I read a comment in the last video about like, it seems like quite the target to be broken into. And you're right. Yeah, I don't blame you for thinking that. If I was someone who really wanted something that would look interesting, to the best of my abilities, I've kind of done what I could to prevent such a thing. I have an aftermarket alarm system which connects to my dash cam and has G-force notifications. Like if someone's, for instance, trying to take my fuel can off, or axe, shovel, whatever, right? The truck starts shaking, it'll set the alarm off. It also listens for specific sounds such as like glass breaking or bumps or bangs or things like that. If it's smart enough tech, like the guy at the shop that I bought it from, it's a small business in town called Mad McKay's. It's got a little speaker inside and it listens for specific sounds like that. And if it happens, it should set the alarm off. And it works intertwined, like I said, with the dash cam, so facing forward and back. If you're walking around the truck a bunch, I have the truck unlocked, so it won't do it right now. But if it was locked and I walked away, you ever see like a Tesla? You walk around a Tesla too much, it kind of gets unhappy with you, flicks its lights, and then eventually it would set the alarm off. Well, that's what this does. So I've done what I can to prevent such things. But I mean, if stuff happens, you know. It's insurance for a reason, right? And my town where I live, personally, it's a low risk thing. And I never put this vehicle in a situation where that could potentially happen. It's always around me. I can drive something else otherwise if I got to go to somewhere like a grocery store or something. So this is just for fun, this vehicle. So it always stays in close proximity to where I am to begin with. But that is what we're dealing with now. That's the main change. Everything that's different. I kind of like the change for how it looks. I think it's more appropriate looking than it was. It wasn't too bad, but I like the lower profile is what I'm trying to say. For as tall as it already is, I figured let's not add to that height. So I brought everything big that's down and everything that's tiny is up there now. And it flows better. So we'll see how long this stays. I think I'll keep it the same for a while. There's not much else I can honestly do. Everything's working as intended, and yeah, So my radios are Lincoln 2 Plus, Zastone D9000, Malihit DSP SDR, and then we also got the Home Patrol 2. Right up there. And those guys do it all. And there we go. So I have lots of fun for camping. Does it all that I need. It's quite the blast with the 503 HD when I really need that extra juice, but I don't usually use it much. But hope you guys enjoyed a little update, and I will talk to you guys all later if anything changes. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think. I'm quite curious what you guys think. Just my little project, done it my way, and for me it works good. It's been fun. Before I go, also I built this out of wood and I've just wrapped it with vinyl. Comment asked about that in a previous video. This is just a custom made little thing out of wood where I've just shoved all the speakers in and radios, cut everything out. That's what that is. It was a fun little project too, but no videos on me building this, unfortunately. It was just an off thing I did. But yeah, that's what that is. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Have a good day, and I will talk to you all later. 73s. Bye-bye.